most dingiest laybys. This is my second most favourite lay-by, my first one being over there, but someone is definitely doing something suspicious. The whole idea of this video is just to run through some of the things I love and hate about my MX5 and what you should really know before you buy one. So let's just hop straight in. Right, so the first thing is definitely boot space. You do not want to buy one of these cars if you're looking to move anything bigger. And I'd say roughly, I don't know, a picnic. This is definitely a small Japanese sports car, and it should not be treated as anything else. This is my only car and my daily, and let's just say I don't carry much around, so it's not too bad. Let's move on to the next point. So, as you can see, there's not much space in the cabin either. I am 6'2", edging on 6'3", so I have had to make some modifications to the cabin to make sure I fit. I am going to make a specific video on how to squeeze a 6-foot person into an MX5, but all you should really know is don't let it scare you if you're slightly taller. I would recommend probably being around 6 foot. I know you can't help that, but it's definitely something I would look at doing. I mean, not height reduction or anything, but just like maybe don't choose this car if you want a comfortable, you know, spacious sports car. So, moving on to the rear axle. You may be thinking, Lewis, why on earth are you talking about the rear axle? This car came with a LSD and it being rear-wheel drive. Is probably one of the most fun combinations out there. The one problem I find is it tries to kill you even when it's a little bit damp like this. I've just fitted brand new rear tyres and it has solved the issue. But I know as soon as it starts getting a little bit wetter, I'm going to be going a little bit more sideways. Right, speaking of rotten, you have got to be very careful with these cars. Luckily for me, I found one which was garage kept and imported from Japan. And those Japanese guys, they love to keep their cars in pristine condition. You have two choices when it comes to rust and MX5s. Choice number one is you buy one which you know is rotten and you plan to get it repaired. Now, arguably this is probably the better way to go, just because you know that it will be repaired and done properly. It will cost you a little bit extra, but the car will be cheaper. So overall, it will cost about the same as what I've done, which is buying one which is allegedly rust-free and been stored in a garage all its life. Now, I've got an MOT in about 4 months, so we'll see how truly rotten it is. I have had it up on a ramp, and it does look fine on the outside, but, however, they can rot from the inside out, so be very, very careful. Now, unfortunately, what they say about the speed of this car is very, very true. It is not the quickest car in the world. However, what I can say is when you're doing 70, it felt more exhilarating than doing 100 in my Golf GTI. Now, that says something about this little car. It might be the fact that it has no safety features and that the dashboard is probably just 2 inches away from your face. But this car feels fast, but you're not going to win any races. So let's move on to some of the fun parts about owning an MX5. So one of the fun things about it is you just get looks from everyone. And I'm not one to be an attention hogger, but something about this makes everyone smile, even if they're older. I mean, this was made in 1990, so even the older folks are like, oh, awesome, an MX5. But what's also awesome is it's nice to see a lot of the younger people as well who are into cars know the car, because it's probably one of the most popular Japanese sports cars on the market. So it is just nice and gives you that little warm fuzzy feeling that you can give it a few cheeky revs when you see some smiles your way. So moving on to the actual driving of the car, I couldn't find a more pure car to drive. I specifically bought this one because it has no power steering. It's a 5-speed manual gearbox and it was an automatic swap as well. So I know this car has been looked after really, really well. And when you're going around corners in this thing, I'm gonna sound like every MX5 owner ever, but the speed is definitely made up for with the cornering ability of this car. Oh, every MX5 owner on track says, oh, he loves cornering. He loves the way it feels around the corners. Oh yeah, I love taking corners. Oh, What am I doing? So that is it. That is what it's like living with an MX5. I've owned it for about a month now, a month and a half, maybe even 2 months. And I can honestly say it's probably one of the best purchases I've ever made. Yes, there is some work you have to do along the way, and not every MX5 is perfect unless you're spending about 6.5, 7K. I have seen in some instances around 10K for an absolutely pristine, low mileage, absolutely original MX5. But I bought mine for 5K. Has a few modifications on it, and I was going to do those modifications anyway, so it was a bargain for me. If you enjoyed today's video and love car content, be sure to subscribe, because I'm starting to post on Tuesdays and Fridays. I'm going to try and be consistent. The keyword in that sentence was try, but I have got some things lined up for the MX5 which I'm very excited to do. So make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.